Hi and welcome to another free.volous episode. So today we're jumping into an up close and personal. I've missed these videos and I'm going to do an up close and personal on the very raved about Makeup Forever HD Skin Foundation, the new foundation. What do you call it? Yes, HD Skin Foundation. Everybody and their dog is raving about this and I really wanted to see what was up. I didn't buy the foundation. I went into a Sephora, tried to color match myself and then asked for a sample, which is something that I don't say this enough. I used to say that way back in my early videos, but I always advise you to go get samples whenever possible. I know that in Portugal sometimes at some counters, and depending on the person that is on the other side, they may be a little reluctant in giving you samples, but just persist because it's a waste of money, it's a waste of product, it's a waste to the environment. So get your samples whenever possible, which is what I did. Now, shade matching was quite troublesome for me. I always thought, because I have other Makeup Forever products, I have the stick foundation, I used to have the liquid foundation a long time ago, the other Ultra HD, and I have the powders, the foundation powders, and each one of them is a different color, and most of them don't really match my skin tone, which is a bit frustrating. But when you buy from Sephora, they don't have the whole array of colors in store, and shade matching online is always a risk. I know that Makeup Forever have more colors in their collection. I don't have access to them in person. But this time it was really weird because they have your old shade and now what that matches in this new foundation, and it was completely off. I was around Y315, Y235, around that in the old formulas, and in this foundation I was sampling and swatching stuff on my face, more on my neck because I was wearing a mask, but on this side of my neck to make sure that I had a match, and I ended up with 1N15 on the Sephora display that I used, that I took the products from. There were only 3 lighter shades than this available for people to try. And let's not talk about the darker shades, which are basically, if you're darker than a deeper tan, you won't find in store at Sephora, at least at the one where I went to, you won't find any shades, which is appalling. But it was it was a little bit weird and sort of daunting in a way. I spent, I don't know, almost half an hour sampling stuff on my neck because I couldn't believe I was going that light in the spectrum. Let's hope I did a good job because Sephora lighting is terrible. And here it is, the little pot. She was quite generous with the amount of product she gave me. So let's jump in and try it. I'm going to apply it mostly with my Zoeva face, whatever brush, this one. It's one of my favorites. And I'm going to take it out with a spatula. Taking this much onto my hand and working from there. If you're new here, my skin is combination at this time. It's a round only combination. It doesn't get to be that oily, but it gets a bit oilier throughout the day. Acne prone, as you may see. I have lots of hyperpigmentation that won't go down even with lasers. So those are my main concerns, and of course I'm 42, so life has happened to my face naturally, and I have some wrinkles where the product will probably set. So this is it. I'm going to show you on one side, and then I'll read the claims and all that once I've applied the product to see what matches, what doesn't. So one first thin layer, and we have, I'd say, some people call this medium coverage, but those people don't have anything to cover. It's just me being spiteful. It's all subjective. But for me, this would be a light coverage. It does even out the skin tone, and I did a phenomenal job matching my skin tone. Pretty chuffed with that. So I'm going to go with a second layer, and I'm going to just pat it on instead of swiping to concentrate some of the product. This foundation is scented, which is absolutely unnecessary, especially because Makeup Forever is a professional makeup artistry brand. Why the hell does it need to be fragranced? Don't know, but there you go. Second layer. It looks really beautiful. It has evened out my skin tone. My darker spots are still showing through, but yeah, I'm gonna just show you this side with nothing on and this side with the product. And let's jump into applying the foundation to the rest of my face. Most of the foundations that I've tried while sampling the shades felt a bit too peachy. I'm yellow olive, slightly golden, but mostly olive, although I'm a light skin tone. And that felt a bit weird. And also, while swatching the product, I was swatching it around my neck next to my jawline, which was what I had exposed with the mask on. And I felt like once applied, giving it a couple of minutes, I'm taking more product out, so that little bit is not enough for my coverage needs. The samples, the swatches that I did on my face, just gently and slightly oxidized, set to a darker tone, whatever you want to call it, just letting you know that. And also another thing, the light is going in and out, it's very cloudy, I do not control the weather, and I need some natural lighting in here to make it as close to real life as possible on screen. So it is what it is. Tis what tis. So yeah, this is kind of an everyday foundation, I'd say, for most people. It does look like it does have a little bit of a sheen. I do have my usual skincare routine, no primers. I do insist that my foundations go well with my sunscreens. Today I'm using the Uriage Barrier Sun one, the light fluid, in case you're wondering. Not the P20, which is heavier. So I'm going in and stippling where I need, I feel I need a bit more extra air. I'm going in and stippling on where I feel I need a bit more extra coverage. There you go. Taking my sponge with nothing on it, just dabbing the product in. I always like to do this with most foundations. Just being really gentle not to lift product out or up. And yeah, this is it. I still feel this has a light medium coverage. I'm gonna zoom you in for you to see what I have done. Oh, I forgot about my forehead. Okay, I'll apply some to the forehead. We'll see what's happening here. It does blend out very easily. It's liquidy. It doesn't feel like it's going to get all streaky, but it's fluid. It's not heavy at all. Upon application, of course. Pretty nice. Now I'm going to get up close and personal with this. This is as far as I'm going to go with this foundation, I think, because I still feel like I need a bit extra coverage. My skin is not doing its best, but I think I'm going to tackle that with a bit of concealer. This foundation is buildable. It did build up a bit of coverage, but I think it would defeat the purpose in a way of it to apply more layers to the skin. It would start to get too heavy, and yeah, it does upon first impression look quite satiny. It's not matte, at least with my sunscreen underneath, which is not a glossy sunscreen at all. It's not a creamy, shiny sunscreen. It is a very lightweight fluid. So yeah, I love this finish, by the by. I very much like the coverage that it gives, although it's not enough for what I need right now, but I really like the skin finish to it, and it's not settling as of now on my fine lines or anything. So really interested in how it's going to go throughout the day. They say it's long wearing, which is one of the things that really called out to me. So we'll see. It is now 12:20. I'm just going to do the rest of my makeup and I'll come back with the claims and to see how it all goes. So, my makeup is done. What I did on my face was using the, actually, I used several Makeup Forever products today. The Ultra Self-Setting Concealer, Ultra HD Self-Setting Concealer under my eyes. On my actual blemishes, I went with the sadly discontinued Marc Jacobs. I think it's the Uncover Up concealer. It's the stick concealer. On my cheeks, I have Danessa Myricks Vision Flush and Tiara as a highlighter. Underneath, a concoction of also cream blushes. The Lisa Eldridge I have a little bit transferred onto here. The Pink Soap, I think, a blusher, and Glossier Dusk. This is too old, but it's still working, so it's fine. And that's what I have on my cheeks as color. And then, because we are still, at least in Portugal, using masks, and just although I love the creamy dewy finish on a foundation, if it stays creamy and dewy to the touch, it will transfer more easily to the mask. The moment you take off the mask, it will not be there anymore, covering what you want to be covered. What I felt is that at first the foundation felt quite tacky, but then after a few, I'd say 5 minutes of doing my blush and stuff like that, when I went back to touch it, it wasn't as tacky. So it feels like it does set a bit on the skin. For me, it wasn't enough. I decided to go on it with a powder to make sure it's locked up over here where it kind of usually comes off the most. On the center of my face, where I have most of my enlarged pores and stuff like that, I'm on a mission to finish this up. Almost there. This is also from Makeup Forever. It's the HD pressed powder, and I applied a light dusting of that here. And then on my cheeks, right on this W here, where the mask usually rubs, I applied a thin veil of the Fenty Beauty loose powder. Where is it? Put it back in a drawer. Never mind, you know which one is. So I applied a little bit over here. So that's what I did regarding my skin. For now, it's not, and it's looking really good with the powder, which I'm really happy. Sometimes they curdle up, look really and heavy when you apply powder, and this is maintaining that kind of seamless, almost undetectable look to the skin while still giving coverage. So I'm really happy with that. Now, regarding the claims, they have a few claims. They always do. So it's a natural finish. I'd say yes. Foundation, long wearing, melts with the skin until now. Yes. Lasts up until 24 hours. I'm not planning on wearing a foundation for 24 hours, but if it lasts 12, it has done its job. On me, usually they don't. Adjustable formula, so I think they mean it's layerable, so you can build it up with a medium to high coverage, they say. I didn't try to build it up to a high coverage. I was happy with this medium, and I'm saying high coverage for a skin that has stuff to actually cover. I didn't feel like risking it. Maybe I will some other day and let you know how it goes. But I felt like sticking to that kind of medium coverage on my skin would be just enough before it starts to lose its beautiful finish. So I don't know about that. I will give it a good go later. Demi matte natural finish. I'd say depends on what you're wearing underneath. And I wasn't using a very heavy, creamy, thick SPF underneath. It's a lightweight, very lightweight fluid, and it still looked pretty satiny on the skin. maybe depends on the skin. It's ideal for normal, combo and oily skin, where I fit. Mine is between combo and oily. And it says it follows the natural movements of your face. Do you mean it won't crease? I would like to see that. Corrects and covers or blurs imperfections. Oh, double asterisk on that claim. 92% of imperfections, double asterisk, meant that. Sure, for a result of hyperfection for 24 hours. Waterproof, breathable, and non-oxidant. But I'd say when you try it out first, let it set, because it will set darker. They have it in 30 shades for all skin tones, in 4 families of light, medium, tan, and deep. And then they claim the cap is biodegradable or whatever. It's a huge bulky cap, actually, completely unnecessary. But and they have recycled glass bottles that are recyclable. That's nice. So that's it. We'll see how it goes, and I'll give you my impressions at the end of the day. I'll do 1 or 2 check-ins until then, and yeah, we'll see how it goes from there. Up until now, pretty chuffed. If you want a comparison, I don't think I mentioned this, with the Lisa Eldridge foundation, which is also kind of light to medium coverage, buildable, self-setting in a way. I'd say this is thinner in terms of heaviness on the skin, the first impression when you apply it to the skin. Lisa Eldridge's is a bit more of a cream. It feels more like a bit of a cream, and this one feels more like a fluid. The Lisa Eldridge one may set a bit quicker, self-set quicker on the skin, but you still have time to work with it. They say this one is buildable to high coverage, which the Lisa Eldridge is not. I think it just plateaus at a medium coverage. So keep that in mind. Regarding the pricing, it depends on where you live. This one is selling for 40 euros at Portuguese Sephora, so I think it's a bit less expensive than the Lisa Eldridge one. But this is not direct comparison. I just remembered from the top of my head the closest that I had, which is that one. So I'll be back for more check-ins throughout the day, and I'll do some more up-closes. And at the end of the day, we'll see which are my conclusions. So I'll see you right up next. So I wasn't planning on doing a check-in this early in the day. I'm sorry if I look a bit weird. I was just having lunch and getting ready to do another video, to record another video today. It's 2:10 in the afternoon, and what I feel that I wanted to report is that the foundation is starting to feel a bit heavy and oily on my skin. I'm not a fan of that, as much as I'm not a fan of foundations that feel really drying and, you know, claustrophobic. I'm not the biggest fan of slippy filling foundations. I like to feel that they're clinging on to my skin in the good way. Please ignore the size of my nose, because I was wearing glasses and that will move things around. Nothing to do regarding that. But on my chin, even to the touch, it's starting to feel a bit more tacky and slidey than I would expect after only at most 2 hours upon application. So we'll see how it will go. I'll just pat things back into place since it's feeling so creamy. Not extremely creamy, but you feel like you can move it around without kind of dragging things out. But I'm kind of curious to know how this will develop throughout the day. So we'll see. Yeah, that's my kind of check-in for now. See you in a bit. It is now 5:54, so almost 6 in the PMs, and my skin is looking a bit dewy, but more than looking, it is feeling sort of heavy and like everything is going to start sliding around. I'm going to do something that I usually do not do, but I'm going to have to leave for work, yes, soon, and also after that I have dinner with a friend. So I'm going to take a bit more of the foundation. I'm just first going to blot with my clean beauty blender. And I think you can see I have been leaning my head on my hand a lot because I've been working at home and most of the coverage I feel is gone. So I'm going to reapply basically a bit of the foundation to make do for the rest of my day because, you know, I still have things to do. And I'm just gonna focus where I need a bit more coverage. You forget it's scented until you get a whiff of it. You're not expecting it, at least I'm not. There you go. Just a touch of this, and I'm gonna powder also, but yeah, I'm gonna do that off camera. You don't have to watch me do all of that, but just letting you know that I'm feeling like it's going to start to slide off. I still need it to make it until at least 9 p.m. So, I mean, make it to the 9-hour mark. It's not asking for too much, is it? So I'm just gonna reapply and see how it goes from here. It's going to kind of mess up the data, but it's what we have and it's real life. And yeah, next time I'm back on screen, it will be after dinner and I will show you how it looks and my final thoughts on the foundation. But up until now, it hasn't been as long lasting as I was expecting it to be. We'll see. Hi, it is now 11:35 p.m. Me and my wilted fringe are back from our evening to-dos and this is how we're looking. So I have a bit of creasing on this side. There was mask wearing, there was face touching and all of that, but there's still some coverage on my cheeks. You can see I'm quite shiny and oily, which with the condensation from the mask is not unusual, but even my forehead is a bit, you know, greasy and all that, but nothing too much. I'd say this is quite average for what I usually do. So yeah, I'll have to give a few more goes to this foundation. Regarding the long wearing capabilities, I'd say it's kind of maybe not that much, at least for me. And with my skincare routine that I will not give up, I need a foundation to suit my skincare routine, not the other way around, because I have needs. But yeah, otherwise, the finish is beautiful. The coverage is really good. I'll give a few more test runs to see if it builds up to the full coverage or high coverage that they claim. And yeah, this was me for tonight. I hope you have enjoyed this video. As usual, if you have, leave me thumbs up, comment down below what you want to see next from me. And also, if you haven't, please consider subscribing, talk about me to your friends, follow me on Instagram. And as always, thank you for spending your time on me. And I'll see you on my next video. Bye!